All right, let's talk about jail. Why were you snitching?
I wasn't snitching.
I mean, you ended up in jail for snitching, basically.
Nah, I wasn't in jail for snitching. I
All
was
right,
in
so
jail for, I was in jail for calling out people that were involved in the murder of someone who was part of a market that I helped build. And I felt that, I was the only person who had the balls to say it because I'm the only person who, if they try to take me out, there'll be serious consequences,
all
for
right, so let's
any
slow
and everybody
let's
that
slow it
could
down
try
there.
do that.
Now, I do want to know a little bit in depth to that, but just for the sake of some of the people that do not understand why you ended up in jail. So I'm going to mention his name because it's somebody that I've known, the late AKA. What I got to understand, or what people understand, is that you said KO's brother may have been
I said
involved.
is, not may have been. I said
Okay,
is.
is, right? Let's be
Yeah.
straightforward. Is involved with the assassination of AKA.
Yeah, and that KO is involved with his brother working with AKA.
Okay, great. And then that took you to court, and then that was a
I didn't
contempt.
go to court.
Okay, what happened? Break that down for
Well,
me.
they did whatever they had to do. They had high-priced lawyers. They were funded by whoever was sponsoring them. The people that sponsored the assassination sponsored the lawyers to try and silence me. Also sent their own lawyers to try and silence me. And I said I will not be silenced. So they created like a sham little trial where I wasn't present. I was in a mental institution at the time, so I could not even be present. I could not be a contemptor when I was not even aware that I was supposed to be in court in the first place. And then, yeah, they did whatever they had to do to get an interdict, an urgent interdict. You know what I mean? They paid whatever money. And then they said I violated the urgent interdict. They wanted me to
So
appear
there
in
must be
court.
a ramification for that. So
Yeah, so it's a
if I'm
default
understanding this
ruling.
clear, if I'm getting this clear, you done snitched, all right, and you didn't pitch for at the court with the summons, and therefore you didn't pitch, so that
No,
we're gonna,
I wasn't served with the summons.
you weren't served with the summons. All right, so because you didn't pitch, you going to jail for going transgressing the law in that instant.
Contempt of court. So
contempt of
not
court, right.
adhering to a court order.
Okay, so this is how you ended up in jail, not because you were
Yeah.
talking smack.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So now, how do these people feel that now that you're in jail? How do you think about they feel? Because you're mentioning this is what they did. The certain people are behind funding this whole thing, and I want to know, how do you know all that information? Like, how does one man get that information from other people?
I've got intelligence operatives in my family. So I had intelligence of everything that they were trying to do. Even to the point of before I left Johannesburg to go to Cape Town, I recorded a podcast, The Highest Frequency, and I said, arrest will be made really soon. And within a space of maybe 2 weeks after I said that and I recorded that podcast, I was in Cape Town, arrests were made, because I knew that the arrests are going to be made when the intelligence are going to track who's going to track me down, because that's what they were doing. They were following me, seeing, okay, who's tracking down my nephew, right? The intelligence officers.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
who's tracking down my nephew? Okay, let's watch them, because they're tracking him down to try and silence him. We've already seen the legal action, the court action that they've tried. They've seen that they failed, so they might try to take him out. So let's just watch them, and that's how the first arrests were made.
So, are you telling me that you are very plugged?
No, I'm just telling you that my family has been very involved in the liberation of this country. Not that I'm plugged.
All right. Instead of covering that up, let me just actually take it to the side. So you ended up in jail. Now I know I personally try to look for you in jail, right?
Yeah, you looked
And
at the wrong place.
Right. You owe me $200 actually. And
Yeah.
so for those that don't know why I came up with this $200, there was a press release or report, excuse me, that says that
An
you
article.
are an article, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a press
It
release.
wasn't a press. Okay, there was an article that said you are in Louis Cop,
Yeah.
which is in Sunning Hill, Santon, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I live in Santon. Let me go down to Louis Cop. I actually took a little video driving down there. And then I get there, I say, I'm looking for Nota Baloyi. They're like, we don't have that person. I'm like, of course, you
Prisoner
have this
number
person, right?
224254404.
At a different prison. But then when we got there, I was like, you know what, I'm going to pay some money to get some food stamps, for you, checking out my boy and
Oh,
whatnot.
thank you.
And then to find out, it's like, you're not there. It's like, no, he's definitely here. I saw this on Twitter. And I'm like, Nota, don't you know Nota? They're like, yeah, that guy that talks too much. That guy that never shuts up. So I'm like,
So everybody
yeah,
knows
that's
me,
him,
right?
Everybody knows you, even in prison. They were like, if he were here, we would know, right? It was that deep. I want my $200 back. But then why did the press release, or you say it was an article, say that you were in Louis Cop when you were actually at a different prison?
Yeah, because that's where I wanted the attention to be, in Loikop.
So you distracted even me. I fell for it.
Yeah, because I knew the sheriff was instructed to send me to Loikop, right? And it was overcrowded. But they'd think to themselves, oh, if this guy really wants to go to Loikop, let's send him to a prison that he doesn't want to go to. So I knew that they were going to send me to Sun City, which is where I had prepared. People waiting for me with my bed, and all the arrangements had already been made. So, you know, that's what I wanted people to think. And also, the media is going to keep asking the prison warders, okay, is this person here? What, you know what I mean? All those questions are going to be fielded by the people that are not housing me, and therefore they won't be able to answer, and therefore they won't be able to write about anything else other than the fact that I've been arrested and taken to prison.
So that little clip that you have, was that in Sun City? Because I want to understand is
No,
how
that
did
was
you,
in Randburg Magistrate
that was in
Court.
Randburg Magistrate. Because I was trying to figure out, how did you get your phone to the cell, take a video, and then turn it off? Because I only found out 2-3 days later that you were actually in jail.
Yeah,
And
I was under the court. You know what I mean? That's
oh,
where
the,
they
the
send
bottom,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's where they send you. And then I shared the video with the blogosphere. And then whichever blogs got it decided to pick it up and take it on, so that, you know, people at least have video evidence. Because, you know, on social media, they don't believe it unless there's a video.
Yeah.
So that was that. And then, yeah, when I got to Sun City, I handed in my phone, you know, put it in the safe.
Like a good boy?
Well, like a compliant.
Yeah, okay, like a compliant. I'm just
like
pulling a leg
a
here.
compliant, what do they call inmate? Yeah, a compliant inmate. And yeah.
Now, here's the thing I want to ask. It says that you're supposed to be for 60 days.
Yeah.
I don't think you spent 2 weeks.
I did. I spent 18 days.
18 days, okay.
Yeah,
just
but I should have
shy
spent
of-
15.
You're supposed to spend 15, then you
I
did.
could have, yeah, because there was
Yeah.
a decree that was,
Now, I think my question is, instead of doing the whole 60, why did you do a quarter of it?
yeah, I'm explaining
Yeah.
that. There was a decree by the president that said, you know, prisons that are overcrowded for non-violent criminals, they only need to serve 25% or a quarter of their sentence.
see.
So that's why I wanted to go to Sun City, because I knew that what prison was overcrowded, whereas Loikop is not as overcrowded.
Oh, I
Had
see.
I been sent to Loikop, I would have spent the entire 60 days there.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. That's the thing about you. You've got some information that what I'd like to go
Other
into.
people don't
Yeah,
understand, and
yeah.
they don't know. Yeah, so that's exactly why I did. I planned everything.
Okay.
I even said, like, a year before I was arrested, a year and a half, in March, when I was in Cape Town, the last podcast that I did, they deleted it, you know, because they were under pressure, because the guy just had a baby, you know what I mean? And he's just scared. Someone said, hey, take this episode down. I said, yo, I'm going to do my bid. I'm going to come out a martyr. You understand what I'm saying? And don't think that they're not waiting for me out there in prison. I got people in prison. Dog, my family's from Soweto. Sun City Prison is right next to Soweto.
That's slightly
Almost
outside
all
of Soweto,
males
right?
in Soweto that get involved in some mischief end up there. I got uncles that have been ending up in and out of there my whole entire life, my whole entire existence. So, you know, I got
You know what you
family
sound
inside
like, right?
there.
You know what you sound like? You sound like, you know, in the United States, this one group of people, the black people, that are so obsessed. I go to prison. I know I'm covered. Nobody's going to touch me in prison. I ain't afraid to go back to jail. You kind of sounding like that. Is there a sense of gangster, like, blood in you? Is there a gangster vein in you?
Not in me, because my mother and my father took their sons out of that situation, but that wasn't the same for my cousins and my uncles.
You're still not answering the question.
I just answered the question. I
So-
said, not in me.
Not in you.
Because my parents made sure that we grew up out of that situation. We didn't have to get into that. We didn't grow up in Soweto. But that's not the same for my cousins and my uncles who grew up in Soweto and were part of that life.
Welcome you guys to yet another episode of Tabloid Galore. Well, this guy needs no introduction because we know him as the nigger for a controversy. And what is surprising to see is the fact that this nigger is standing by his words. When he went on to say he still believes Zuti, KO, as well as his younger brother were very much involved in the murder of AKA. It's very interesting to see Woods, even after spending time in jail, homeboy still shares the very same sentiments via this issue. But then again, it is a free country. Everyone is entitled to his or her own opinion. So we might as well let the guy be. Anyway guys, do hit me in the comments. Tell me what you think about this whole thing. Do subscribe, hit that notification button in order to get more content. It has been an episode of Tabloid Galore. Yes sir.